As dawn spreads across the southern wetlands, one of North America's most elegant aerial hunters begins another day. Unlike heavier birds of prey, swallow-tailed kite spends much of its life on the wing. During with its remarkable foot-tail breeding season reunites experienced partners. Their silent coordination has been refined through seasons of shared migration and successful nesting. Courtship is measured not by spectacle alone, but by trust. A successful exchange in mid-air strengthens the bond that will soon support a new generation. Choosing the right nesting tree is a careful decision. Height, stability, and an unobstructed flight path may determine the survival of future chicks. Every branch is selected individually. A nest strong enough to withstand weeks of incubation begins with hundreds of simple journeys like this one. Instruction is shared. Each small adjustment strengthens a platform that must safely support eggs, growing chicks, and constant parental activity. Fresh leaves help create a clean inner lining. The nest is more than a platform. It becomes the center of the family's entire breeding season. With the nest complete, activity slows. Energy now shifts toward one of the most delicate stages of the breeding cycle. The first egg marks the beginning of a new generation. From this moment onward, every flight, every hunt, and every decision, a complete clutch now rests beneath the female. For the weeks ahead, constant vigilance and cooperation will be essential. Incubation is a careful balance. Every meal must be timed, so the developing embryos remain protected while the parents maintain their own strength. Weather becomes another challenge. Even a gentle rain demands patience, as warmth must be preserved beneath the parent's body. Life quickly returns to its rhythm. Every interruption is temporary, and the breeding cycle continues almost without pause. Inside the shell, weeks of silent development are reaching their final stage. The first signs of life appear almost unnoticed. The first hatchling enters a world of towering trees and endless sky, completely dependent on its parents from its very first breath. Within hours, the family is complete. Two fragile chicks now rely entirely on the constant care of their experienced parents. Removing eggshells helps keep the nest clean. It may reduce visual clues that could attract unwanted attention from predators. Every meal is carefully divided. At this stage, even the smallest prey must be prepared with remarkable precision. From now on, the rhythm rarely changes. Hunt, return, feed, protect, and repeat day after day. Unlike many birds of prey, the swallow-tailed kite specializes in catching small prey while remaining almost constantly airborne. Its menu changes with opportunity. Amphibians, insects, and small reptiles all contribute to the growing family survival. Every successful hunt shortens the time young chicks remain hungry. Efficiency is as valuable as strength. Growth accelerates rapidly. Within days, soft down begins giving way to the first true feathers. Long before flight is possible, instinct encourages constant exercise. Every stretch strengthens muscles that will one day support hours of effortless soaring. Competition exists, but cooperation is equally important. Both young birds depend on the same steady flow of food. Protection is not limited to predators. Even the summer sun can become a serious challenge for growing chicks. Confidence grows gradually. Each careful movement prepares the young birds for life beyond the security of the nest. Flight begins long before leaving the nest. Thousands of repeated movements quietly prepare muscles, balance, and coordination. For weeks, this rhythm rarely changes. Every successful journey brings the young bird one step closer to independence. Curiosity gradually overcomes caution. Before mastering the sky, every young kite must first learn confidence on the branch beneath its feet. Balance is practiced in small, deliberate steps. Even these quiet moments build the coordination needed for future flight. The first flight is never elegant. It is simply the beginning of a lifetime spent mastering the open air. Landing demands as much skill as takeoff. Every imperfect attempt becomes another lesson carried into the next flight. The adults rarely teach directly. Instead, their effortless example provides a living model that the young birds gradually learn to imitate. For the first time, the family moves together beyond the nesting tree. Experience now becomes the greatest teacher. Success does not come immediately. Acquiring sustenance requires timing, measured in fractions of a second. Every missed opportunity refines judgment. The The sky itself becomes a young bird's classroom. Persistence is rewarded. The first successful acquisition of sustenance marks an important step toward complete independence. First, the breeding season has transformed two fragile hatchlings into confident young flyers. Soon they will be journeys of their own. Each sunrise reveals a larger world. The young kite is no longer confined to the nesting tree, but mastering invisible columns of rising air allows the swallow-tailed kite to travel remarkable distances while conserving precious energy. Its forked tail functions like a finely tuned rudder, providing extraordinary control during even the gentlest turns. Before every successful acquisition of sustenance comes careful observation. Patience often proves more valuable than speed. Experience brings efficiency. Small victories gradually transform instinct into reliable skill. Periods of quiet are as important as moments of action. Careful feather maintenance ensures that every flight remains efficient. Although independence is growing, the family bond has not yet completely faded. Shared flights still offer valuable experience. Evening often brings abundant aerial insects, providing ideal opportunities for a young hunter to refine its technique. Each successful day adds confidence. The sky that once seemed overwhelming is becoming a familiar home. The breeding season draws to a close. From two fragile eggs has emerged a young hunter, prepared to begin its own journey. As summer begins to fade, the young kite enters a new stage of life. Each day demands greater independence and longer journeys. Young birds gradually expand their range, learning the geography that will guide future migrations. What once required repeated attempts now appears almost effortless. Experience quietly reshapes every movement. Outside the breeding season, these elegant hunters often gather where rising air offers effortless travel. Successful hunting begins long before the chase itself. Every flight is guided by careful observation. Rain rarely halts the rhythm of the wild. It simply changes the pace. Moments after the rain, life quickly resumes. Every clear sky offers another opportunity to fade. The forked tail remains the key to extraordinary aerial precision, allowing graceful control with almost effortless movements. As daylight fades, the sky slowly empties. Tomorrow's winds will once again shape their journeys. Soon, instinct will lead these graceful travelers far beyond the forests where they first learned to fly. The changing season awakens an ancient instinct. Soon, these graceful hunters will leave the breeding forests behind in search of warmer skies. Before every great journey comes preparation. Energy gathered now will sustain flights that stretch far beyond the horizon. Migration is not a race. Individuals simply respond to the same invisible signals carried by season and atmosphere. By combining thermals with effortless gliding, swallow-tailed kites conserve energy during journeys that may span thousands of kilometers. As daylight fades, travelers pause. Tomorrow, favorable winds may carry them hundreds of kilometers farther south. Each departure begins quietly. There is no signal to start, only instinct, light, and the promise of favorable skies. For generations beyond counting, each remarkable bird have followed the same invisible pathways across continents. The story of one family has come to an end, but across these wetlands, countless others continue the same timeless cycle. The atmosphere is never still. Every shift in the wind demands constant adjustment, rewarding experience with effortless control. Open water offers few places to rest. Careful use of rising air allows the journey to continue with remarkable efficiency. Opportunity often appears unexpectedly. A single successful capture may provide enough energy for many more kilometers of flight. Flight depends not only on strength, but on meticulous care. Every feather must remain perfectly aligned for maximum efficiency. Moments of stillness revert just as much about survival as moments of action. Careful observation often determines the next successful hunt. Invisible columns of warm air become shared highways through the sky, lifting many travelers with almost no effort. Kite provides freedom. Every meter gained on a thermal can carry a bird many kilometers across the landscape. Even at the end of the day, every successful hunt strengthens the reserve needed for tomorrow's journey. Choosing a safe resting place is another quiet decision that shapes survival. Night brings recovery before another day on the wind. For now, the journey pauses. Beneath the stars, the wetlands continue their timeless rhythm, waiting for the fresh light of another day. Each new day begins long before the sun clears the horizon. For a bird that lives on the wind, every hour of daylight is an opportunity. The cool morning air offers calm conditions, allowing the young kite to begin another day with minimal effort. Rivers guide more than water. They also concentrate life, making them valuable pathways for a hunter searching the morning air. As temperatures rise, insects take flight, and with them comes the first dependable meal of the day. Without competition or conflict, each bird simply benefits from the same invisible column of rising air. The deeply forked tail acts like a finely tuned control surface, allowing extraordinary precision with only the smallest movement. Even the most accomplished flyers must pause. Rest restores energy for the many kilometers that still lie ahead. Expanding its knowledge of the landscape increases the young bird's chances of finding reliable food wherever the journey may lead. Confidence now replaces hesitation. Hunting has become a natural extension of flight itself. With every passing day, young kite grows less dependent on the place where its story began. Ahead lies a world shaped by changing seasons and endless skies. Morning mist transforms the familiar landscape. Even in changing conditions, the young kite moves with quiet confidence, guided by instinct and experience. The edges between habitats often concentrate life, rewarding patient hunters that understand where opportunity is most likely to appear. Warm air rising from the earth becomes an invisible elevator, carrying skilled flyers effortlessly into the open sky. Unlike falcons that rely on explosive speed, the swallow-tailed kite succeeds through graceful precision. Remarkable aerial control, perfectly maintained feathers are essential. In the air, even small imperfections increase the cost of every journey. Weather changes constantly, but flexibility allows the kite to adapt without interrupting its search for food. Seasonal insect catches provide brief moments of abundance, allowing aerial hunters to feed with remarkable efficiency. From this height, forests, rivers, and marshes merge into a single living landscape, connected by the changing seasons. One final meal before nightfall provides the energy needed for another day of exploration. Thus, the lessons of the breeding season are now woven into every effortless turn, every silent glide, and every success. The final stretches of migration present new challenges, new sights, and sounds. Arriving at wintering grounds, thousands of kites gather, forming a tapestry of life. New habitats bring new diets, requiring the young hunter to adapt his agile techniques. In wintering flocks, cooperation reigns, as shared thermals conserve energy for all. Midwinter months are for strengthening. Plumage becomes pristine, body robust, ready for the return. As seasons shift, an ancient call echoes, signaling the long journey back to breeding grounds. Northward migration begins, a grand spectacle of shared purpose and unwavering instinct. Across unfamiliar lands, the innate compass guides each kite, learning new pathways with every beat. Spring's unpredictable sky tests endurance, yet the kite's mastery makes the challenging journey possible. The familiar landscape calls, a beacon across continents, guiding the weary traveler home. Patience. With the return of spring, instinct guides the travelers back to the forests, where another breeding season will soon begin. The landscape has changed with time, yet the essential landmarks remain. Memory and instinct together guide one of nature's most graceful migrations. Every season brings new beginnings. The story of one bird becomes part of a much larger rhythm that has shaped these wetlands for countless generations. Some journeys have no true ending. They simply become part of the timeless cycle of life, carried onward by the wind.